Oh yeah, look at that. Greetings and welcome to Cooking with Squirrel. If you're new here, I'm the Squirrel. Today is Mother's Day, and this recipe is going to be a gift for my mother, Mama Squirrel. It is a gluten-free vegan pineapple drop biscuit. It's inspired by Chef John's strawberry rhubarb drop biscuit. I modified it to fit my mom's diet. And let's get into it. We're gonna get into some of this fun Pinkglow, fancy internet pineapple. All right, first thing we need to do is peel this lovely Pinkglow pineapple. Let's get that open. Out she comes, top and tail. Don't cut too deep. You don't want to lose too much of your flesh. I'll show you how to do the eyes in just a moment. You do not have to use Pinkglow, but it is pretty. It's nice if you're trying to wow somebody. I am trying to wow my mama. You could probably use canned for this dish, but it will not be as good in my opinion. Fresh would be the best, and then the Pinkglow's mostly for fun. It doesn't taste a whole lot different, maybe a touch sweeter, but it is pretty. There we go, that's most of the peel off. Let's worry about the eyes now. So for our eyes, you can see there are rows that run around this, and if you cut a thin diagonal, you can just take them out without losing too much flesh, and then you kind of just follow them around the pineapple. All right, we got all of our eyes out. We're gonna quarter this. And we're going to remove the core with a 45-degree angle cut. Just like that. If you don't get it all in the first shot, just trim it up. All right, so we'll take one of these, we'll set it kind of on edge. We're going to split this into planks. So we'll make one plank, two plank. We need about a cup and a quarter of crushed, and we need a cup and a quarter of cubes. So what we're going to do, start with this, cube this into about 1/2 inch cubes. Throw some on the floor. There we go. I would err on the side of too much pineapple rather than too little. A little over a cup and a quarter, but that's all right. We're going to go into this bowl here, cube up our next batch. So pick the inner part to be crushed because it's a little firmer. Okay, let's get this into our measure. There we go, right at a cup and a quarter. Mortar and pestle, you can crush these however works for you. You could use a heavy bottom bowl and a heavy spoon. In a Ziploc bag, that might be a little more dangerous. But I have this nice big mortar and pestle, and so that's what I'm gonna do. Just don't go too hard too fast because you will shoot them out. So we don't want a pulp, we want shreds. So that's what I'm going for here. There we go, I'm happy with that. Now, if you're a subscriber, you may have noticed that my head and face are not shaved, which is how I shoot all of my videos. However, Mama Squirrel does not like freshly shaven head. She likes me better with some hair on, so for Mother's Day, I have chosen to be scruffly. So here I am scruffly, I love you, Mama. And now, we will dump this out of here into there. Make it a mess while we do it, because it's more fun. What we have here, 2 tablespoons of white sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne. Cayenne's optional. Mama Squirrel likes spicy stuff. This is just gonna add a touch of heat to the dish. Will not be spicy, but it really lifts it. So, optional, but highly suggested. So we're gonna mix this in to macerate our pineapple. So we'll get that all mixed in. Make sure it all gets around everywhere. All right, that is well incorporated. We're gonna go into the fridge for up to overnight, but at least 30 minutes. I'm probably gonna go an hour or two. The longer the better. You get more flavor into your pineapple and you get more of that sugary juices out. So into the fridge, I'll see you in a little bit. All right, we're back. We got our macerated pineapple. We're gonna take that, and you see it's nice and juicy now. Lots of juices come out. You see that cayenne has kind of blended in with everything. So we're gonna go ahead and dump this into our strainer over a bowl. And we're gonna reserve all that liquid in the most awkward I'm shooting a video way possible. Kind of spread that out to make sure it drains nicely. And we'll set that aside for the moment. Now on to our flours. We have 2.5 cups of gluten-free all-purpose flour. This is Krusteaz. I have not tested with any other kinds of flours. I've only used Krusteaz. It's sorghum-based. Gives a nice nutty flavor. So I really like this with this application. I would stay away from anything that's white rice flour based. They get kind of gummy, and I don't think that would be good in a biscuit. We go in with 2.5 cups of that. Then we have 1 teaspoon of Mortons Kosher, 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And that's all gonna go in. Hey, Future Squirrel here. I just realized that I did not mention that there is a 1/4 cup of sugar in the batter recipe, so don't forget that. And as always, the written recipe will be down below, and there'll be a link to the written recipe on my website as well, and links to all of the inspirations. So in this case, Chef John's recipe will be linked down below. And then we'll give that a nice whisk and make sure that it's all well incorporated. Do this a little longer than you think you need to, because you really want this mixed in well to make sure you get a good even rise in your biscuits. We're gonna preheat our oven to 425 while we put the batter together, or while we put the dough together. And now we're gonna grate in some frozen vegan butter. You can use whatever butter alternative you like. You can probably use butter flavored Crisco, whatever you like. So this is frozen. We're gonna grate this in, and we're gonna stop about every 1/4 of this, and then get these all covered with flour so they don't stick back together. That's a neat trick. I just figured that out. You flour the inside to keep the butter from sticking to the inside of the grater. Worked pretty good. Don't grate your fingers. You get to the last little bit, you can drop that in the bottom, and you can kind of cut it in with your fork. And if you get any big clumps out of the stuff that you grated, same thing. So we'll get our little chunky boy. Made a mess on myself, of course, because I'm shooting a video. Why wouldn't I? Got all of our vegan butter cut in. It is a mess in here. Well, it's not bacon if you don't look like this. Bring back that fruit. We're going to make sure we're drained out, and then we're going to go in with our fruit. And we're going to treat the fruit like we just treated that butter. We're going to just get it coated in our flour mixture. Go. Nice. Now we have our milk alternative, which today is an oat milk. I don't think it particularly matters what kind you use. Whatever you like will do. You go 3/4 cup of that. And we're going to add 2 tablespoons of our reserved fruit juices and cayenne. Traditionally, you would use buttermilk in a biscuit recipe, but because this is vegan, we're not going to use buttermilk. So the acidity in the pineapple will kind of replace the acidity in buttermilk here. We'll get that mixed in. Give that a little pour around. And now we're going to stir this until it comes together nicely. We don't really have to worry about developing too much gluten here because it's gluten-free. So we don't have to worry about that like you would in a normal biscuit recipe, which is kind of the nice thing about gluten-free biscuits. They are very tender without much work. So let's make sure we get all this dry incorporated in. big mess. Okay, we got all the dry out. Seems like a pretty good texture to me. It's moist, it sticks together a little bit, but it's not goopy and it's not too crumbly. All right, next, silicone matte lined baking sheet. We have a 4-ounce ice cream style scooper. So this will make 8, almost exactly. We will get our nice scoops out, make sure they're level on the bottom, and we're going to make sure they have a good amount of space in between them. This last one might be a little light. Actually, I'm gonna cook that one separate because it's so light, it'll burn before the others are done. We're gonna give these a little brush. That's gonna basically just make them nice and receptive to our next step, which is going to be some large grain sugar. And that will stick a lot better, and we can kinda, if there's any jagged spots, we can kinda squish them down too. Unless you like extra crispy bits, in which case, leave them poking out. And you can make these smaller if you like. You will have to adjust the baking time, of course. But I like these big boys. They're fun. Vanilla sugar. You don't have to use vanilla sugar. I just have some. And I'll throw, I don't know, a tablespoon or so in my hand. So any big, large grain sugar will work for this. The larger grains will caramelize a little better, give you a little crunch. You can use regular sugar, it just won't work quite as well. So we're gonna give these all a nice little cap. And that milk is helping, our milk alternative is allowing this to kind of stick a little better. And chef treat. Now we're gonna go into our 425 oven for 20 to 25 minutes. We'll check first at 20, see how we're looking. All right, while we're waiting on that, we'll make our glaze. So we have 1 tablespoon of our pineapple juice with cayenne in it, and we have half a cup of powdered sugar, and we'll just go straight in with that. We're gonna whisk this, see where we're at texture-wise, and then we'll adjust in whatever direction we need to. It's pretty decent. Then we're gonna add some paprika for color in a natural way instead of adding food coloring. And I kind of like a looser glaze for this, so we're gonna thin this out just a little bit. So instead of piping it, this time we're gonna spoon it on. You'll see what I mean later. Oh yeah, that's pretty. We'll set that aside and I'll see you back when this timer goes off. All right, we're going first person view. We're gonna check these. See how we're looking. Got you a little steam there on your lens. Ooh, they're looking pretty. A little poke. So they're getting brown, but they are not. They're still a little jiggly and soft, so let's give them another 5 minutes. Bye-bye, babies. All right, let's get these bad boys out of here. Yeah, look at that. Nice and toasty, pretty and pink. So we'll set that there. Get these onto a cooling rack immediately. And there they go. We'll let those cool off and we'll come back and glaze them once they're cool, and see you then. Biscuits are cooled off. Let's give them a little glaze. I'm just gonna spoon it over and let it kind of drip down into the pan. Make sure you leave some of the pineapples peeking out because they're pretty. And there we go. Now this is gonna be sticky, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'm gonna crack one of these open and get a look at the inside. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, it's great. All right, so you get the sweet and tangy pineapple. The sorghum-based flour gives it kind of a nutty flavor. You get just a little bit of warmth from the cayenne, and it's not overly sweet. It's a sweet biscuit, but it's not like a dessert. It's really delicious. Happy Mother's Day, Mama. I hope you like this. Please tell me if you make it and send me a picture. To everyone else, if you have any positivity in your life, please try and pay it forward. Go out there, do something nice for somebody today. And thanks for stopping by.